Hello, everybody. This is Geopolitics. We take you to the United States, where Donald Trump is threatening to hit China with 100% tariffs again because of the comments that the foreign minister of China made about rare earth minerals. These rare earth minerals are critical for these rare earth minerals are 17 vital materials in products ranging from electrical vehicles to aircraft engines and military radars. Exports of those 12 are now restricted after the ministry added 5: aluminum, erbium, thulium, erbium, and ytterbium. So those were the minerals that were added. The 5 were added, but 17 of them had already been uh, restricted. So now the USA, Donald Trump had a meeting with Xi Jinping planned, but he's saying that this could be cancelled because of the Chinese behavior. So now we're going to show you him speaking, and also there is another expert that is being interviewed by Fox News. He's also going to talk about this issue, and then that's what I have.
To put in new export controls on rare earth minerals, and they've stopped buying soybeans from the U.S. What do you hope to get out of that meeting now with President Xi?
Well, we'll see. We import from China massive amounts, and maybe we'll have to stop doing that. But I don't know exactly what it is. Neither do you. Neither does anybody. It's a little bit soon.
Now there's a threat possibly of 100% tariffs on China and maybe not meeting with Chinese President Xi Jinping at APEC. Joining us tonight to talk about tariffs, trade, and China is U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. Mr. Ambassador, thanks for coming on. What's the status tonight with the U.S. and China and trade?
Well, Brett, you've seen the president's truths today. I've been there with him throughout the day, working with him on a response. What the Chinese have done, in short, is in the past couple of days, they've ordered the entire world that they have to submit for approval and permission by the Chinese government to export any kinds of materials that include rare earths that have been touched, processed, mined by China. So this could include cars, it could include microwaves that have chips, it can include defense materials. So China has taken this action, which is quite extreme. And so President Trump obviously wants to safeguard U.S. national and economic security. And so we have to take our own countervailing action.
I want to play something about President Trump in recent days, talking positively about what was happening. Take a listen.
We have big advantages over China for lots of different reasons, and I think we're doing very well with China. I get along very well with President Xi. If those countries are hostile, and by the way, China hasn't been. We've made deals with China. President Xi was great. We're doing very well, as you know, with the trade deals. We're doing very well with China. Great respect for President Xi.
So what happened? I mean, you've met with the Chinese. Treasury Secretary Bessent has met with the Chinese, came out of the last meeting suggesting that there was significant progress. Why the change?
That's exactly right, Brett. For the past 6 months, well, just to go back a little bit, 6 months ago, China took an action like this with respect to rare earth magnets. And over the past 6 months, we've been quite successful in securing the regular flow of those magnets to China. We've managed to have a fragile truce with China with respect to tariffs, where we continue to have high tariffs on China, but we're able to talk to them and have great communication. This action that recently happened, I mean, listen, China, negotiating with China is not like playing patty cake. On the one hand, they have a meeting with President Trump coming up, or they had one coming up, and on the other hand, they truly seek to acquire domination over global technology supply chains. This is a move clearly that they had in their pocket for a long time, and they thought that it was an appropriate time to deploy it before this meeting, and I think they've really miscalculated what they've done here.
We're really spooked by this today. There are a lot of businesses, there are farmers about soybeans, there are all kinds of different things that hinge on China and the U.S. and the established trade agreements. Who has the leverage here? Is it the rare earth minerals hinge, or is it our ability to sell or not sell chips to China or technology to China? Where is the leverage here about getting to a deal?
Well, first of all, I would say that China's economy is floating on the idea that they can continue to produce and export huge amounts of excess capacity, frankly, of manufactured goods and send them to overseas markets. The United States is the #1 consumer, the #1 importer. We are the dumping ground for Chinese goods. And so that is huge leverage. In fact, this is why they came to the negotiating table back in May the first time, is when we had very high tariffs on them. It's actually not our desire to do that. Our desire is to have a healthy, balanced trading relationship with China that's fair, but it's a rocky road getting to that. You know, we have a market. They have a government that's running the economy of their country. We have a free market, and for them it's a government. Yeah.
I mentioned soybeans. You met with the Farm Bureau yesterday to talk soybeans and more. There's real panic over the loss of Chinese buyers. Where is the U.S. on that issue for farmers?
Sure. So one of the things that we're doing, which is so important, is we're opening foreign market access in additional countries. For example, Vietnam has already lowered its tariffs on soybeans. Cambodia has lowered its tariffs on soybeans. We're in talks with several other Asian nations to do that. We're also talking within the White House about domestic uses for soybeans. You know, the challenge is when China takes actions like this, it uses economic coercion to try to influence American politics. Everyone's just trying to to make a living here. Our farmers are the victims of Chinese economic coercion, and it's unfortunate, right? And we're trying to find a way through this.
You know, back in April, there was this pause, and back then, Peter Navarro, White House senior trade counselor, said we get the potential here to do 90 trade deals in 90 days. As you look at the graphic, the trade deals that have been finalized, there have really only been 7 official agreements that have been reached. So for the people who look at that and say, this is a danger sign looking at 2026, what do you say to them?